Hello YouTube people, bring you yet another battle, this time on Marathon. It was quite a while and I've wanted to bring you a battle with our Roman general over here. So finally here's one. In this one, no one really wanted to deploy in the center, so I had to do it. And I don't usually like to do this because there are usually spears in the center, and you can't really bypass them, and they do a lot of damage. So in infantry can stand up to them, but it doesn't do super well. But we're going to try to do just that. And I thought I would send my units forward, but then I remembered I really needed to be patient. Because that usually leads to my downfall, and I pulled back little by little here. A lot of our infantry players are supporting my flank, so I'm feeling pretty good over here. Now that we see the enemy and the tier 4 units, it's a little bit intimidating, as well as these archers are coming from high ground, but I'm just going to pull back and not rush into things. Would be silly to do so. We also have our own archer player, so hopefully he's going to protect me. He's tier 4 against tier 3, so probably has an advantage over here. I'm not always sure if a tier higher is always much better, but we'll see. So the enemy shows himself, and he has all of infantry too, so we're just holding the center and seeing what's going to happen. Perhaps one of our flanks can punch through and help us later on. Yeah, so I don't really like deploying in the center, not with Romans at least, but we'll see what we can do. Looking good. We engage first. Our archers are firing on their units, so we have to send their archers forward. The first skirmishing phase of the battle begins, so to speak. The infantry pulls back a little bit, and their archers should start firing pretty soon. I've noticed the enemy has engaged the pseudo, and I really wanted to attack them in that, so I sent my troops forward, and we're suffering missile damage along the way. It wasn't bad at first, but now it's really getting kind of bad, and I regretted my decision a little bit. But we're throwing pillar, and we're engaging the pseudo ourselves, protecting ourselves from the archers on the front, and attacking into this pseudo should be pretty good, although he managed to disengage, but still these are javelin here, and we're doing pretty good here. So trying to flank the flank of my enemy, I suppose, sending in another unit over here, and another player charges into my flank. So I'm trying to tell my guy to support, because he can definitely get into the flank of his guy now that I have him held, but it came a little bit late, and I took a lot of damage from the archers and from the enemy, although I managed to destroy one of the javelin units. Trying to sort of run them down and come from flank. Meanwhile, this unit was trying to chase the archers away so that our archers could have an advantage over here, but a lot of hoplites are coming now, so we have to we have to disengage. I thought I would quickly hit this javelin unit before the pikemen come over here and try to take some kind of advantage, because we can't really try to outlast these guys much, so trying to attack now instead. One of our units unfortunately died, and the other one is also kinda perishing. We seem to have a good surround on them, but it's not decisive yet. This hoplite engage the pikemen, and meanwhile our unit tries to hit them from the rear as well, but there aren't many of our units to hold them anymore, so this turns out to be pretty even battle. I thought I would hit these hoplites from the flank, since I wasn't making any progress here, but these Ascensia just hit us and followed us through, so I have to turn back and face them now, taking a lot of damage. Still quite convinced that we just have better units overall. I took a lot of damage in that. So yeah, it's pretty much done for me, this battle, but I wanted to hear your guys' opinion as to if what I have done in the center actually helped us, or if it was a mistake. Because I felt like the enemy had engaged in this too though, so we had to attack, and the attack on that one guy who had a mix of I believe it was javelin, archers, and infantry was pretty good, because we definitely did a lot of the damage to him, but it forced an engagement, and I'm not sure if it was my fault or it was my allies' fault of him attacking too quickly. But the battle itself is not over, it's just over for us, and we're trying to hold off, although this infantry unit is going to hit us from the back, and there's not that much we can do about it. My ally was thinking to hold this unit off, try to charge into it so it couldn't move, but I figured that's not really going to work. We're just going to delay our doom. So I thought that maybe if I can charge this unit in the rear, it could perhaps flee, and then we could turn around and deal with the flanking unit. But they have a lot more troops, and it's a rear charge into a rear charge, and we're out eventually. Doing alright over here. Unfortunately, our Ascensi scattered before the pikes could arrive. So yeah, so end up losing the center for the most part. The battle of forces is still about even though. So an interesting battle over here. Definitely a mass of infantry just over here, and they just keep pushing in, like annoying cockroaches or something, I don't know. And every time the pike comes up, they just scurry away. Hoplites seem to be more maneuverable actually, they can sort of run you down and then engage their phalanx. These spikes seem to be even more immobile. Like he has the strength to beat these guys, but they just keep running around mopping up small units, and there's nothing this guy can do about it. The war chief, right? Is that a title you get from becoming from winning a lot of battles with the barbarian faction? I think it is. So since the battle in the center didn't go well, some of our guys are trying to take the enemy stronghold. They're doing quite well in that regard. One of the enemies has disconnected, so we're trying to use that to gain advantage over here. But the enemy is quickly moving towards us. Still, we've started the cap. We're slightly behind on the score count, but the cap is starting. So it's just the question whether we can finish it or not. Unfortunately, there are archers in the bush here, and we didn't take the engagement as good as we could, I suppose. Perhaps these hoplites just didn't seem to be engaging enough, and the barbarians just died to the missile fire, as they often do. They don't have any significant armor, so they've just melted to it. I guess this warband, or wasn't a warband? Yes, this enemy warband did a good job holding off our units, and the archers peppered them from afar. And now the battle which we lost in the center is coming in, and these guys are going to get engaged, and it's not looking good for them. Meanwhile, these legionnaires are doing a heroic stand on the beach over here, in sort of this kinda deserty, coasty terrain, being fired from 5 enemy archers. It's actually it looks like we're super losing and it's bad for them, but looking at them, we're not actually taking that much damage, and that's holding, tying up twice the unit count, so honestly doing pretty well. Just holding these all these units in place, not letting them to join the engagement. That's much more important at the enemy camp, which we have now lost and retreated, as we can see from the map. So a Pac-Man unit finally comes in, and these legionnaires have no choice but to try to run down these archers, and they will eventually die against missile fire. Not much we can do about it, but they did one the time. They've defended the base, and the enemy is still out there and in significant numbers, as the score sheet shows. So yeah, a nice defense by the enemy, definitely holding off the barbarian troops, of which hundreds have died here and are still dying actually on this battle. Very much heroic stand. The archers rained death on them. Meanwhile, these legionnaires are being mopped up, but they definitely did their job. And that loss in the center, it was definitely bitter for us. Again, I've lost my patience there, but I think it was a good opportunity to charge in. I definitely thought I saw the opening. As the archers were firing into the enemy, they've engaged in pseudo, and that's good to attack into, as they suffer massive penalties when they do so. I can't actually show you and highlight the skill, but you'll have to trust me on that. It's some minus 50% defense from melee attacks or something like that. Probably a lot less, but it's still significant is what I'm saying. Here it is. Missile block chance plus 48. Melee defense minus 70%. It's actually even more significant. So charging into the pseudo, definitely wanted to do that. Did it pay off? It's hard to say really, but I think it was the right choice overall. You have to try to seize on opportunities. You just can't be patient all the time. Then you need to seize initiative when you do see an opportunity for doing so. So we do see the enemy force. Unfortunately, that's at the cost of one of our units. The enemy has, what about 5 swords, 2 spears, and a pike unit. Meanwhile, we have 3 archers over here. Some pikes and archers scattered over here. And 1 unit simply trying to take watchtowers to see where the enemy is. They're going to get back into the engagement now. So we could have still won this battle, I think. I'm spoiling things. I guess we don't win the battle, but with a minute and 30 remaining and all these melee troops, it's very hard to push in. There's just not that much time. These 2 guys are trying to engage a phalanx. Good luck to them. They changed their mind about it. And this was really the killing blow for us. The enemy took the watchtower. We had no melee troops to hold it, and now our archers are just useless against their archers, as they can see us from way afar and we can't see them, so they're just firing at us with impunity. The balance of power is about equal, and who knows, if this lasted 15 minutes more perhaps we would have been able to turn it around, but even our position isn't that good with that watchtower captured. We're just suffering missile fire, trying to sneak through the forest to mitigate the damage that's being fired at us. But yeah, forced to attack, and no good way of doing so. Let's look at these guys firing. Oh, that was a brutal charge. We're starting to capture the enemy base, but the time has already run out. And taking a lot of damage from these archers in the grass. So good job by our opponents here, holding that watchtower and using the archer, their own archers against our own archers, gaining sort of the upper hand even though the numbers were equal. So very well done here. And let me know what you thought about that charge in the middle. Should I have charged? I thought I had an opportunity and an upper hand, but perhaps I didn't coordinate well enough with my allies. Should have pinged, I guess. So there you go. That's one of a few battles, one of a few good battles of Germanicus. I hope you were entertained by it, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.